viewers, you're welcome to Kharis Tutorials. I'm Simeon Grace. Today we'll be doing the sewing of our off-shoulder padded gown with I Love Flare. In our previous class, remember, we've done the cutting, and in case you missed the class, try to watch it. And for more videos, click on the subscribe button. So in this tutorial, we will not be using the ready-made padded cup. We'll be using the wadding to make the breast pad, and also we'll be cutting the lining for each of the pieces we did in our previous class. So quickly, let's move to the sewing. Welcome back. And now the first thing we're going to have is to cut out the linings for each piece of our fabric, and I have mine already. And now for the front part, it's going to be a padded gown, so I'm going to cut out wadding. I'll be using wadding in this tutorial, and this is the middle piece. We can cut out a full wadding and we can make it just half and half. And also you can use the ready-made breast cup, but I will be using wadding in this tutorial. So I'm going to place my fabric to cut out the wadding now. So I have the wadding for the middle and for the side pieces. So now the first thing we're going to do is to turn the middle piece. I'm going to turn the neck with a lining. I've cut out the lining already. So I'm going to run my sewing on it. I'll notch and top stitch. That's for the middle piece first. Now I'm going to iron. There's a gum part on your wadding if you look closely, so I'm going to iron it on the fabric. I'm going to arrange each of the wadding to their position, and I'll iron to the fabric. The next thing I'm going to do is to place the side. I'm going to place the side, and the lining will be on the other side. And now I'm going to join together. That's the middle piece and the side. So I'm going to join it together now. try and cut out all excess. Cut out all excess and notch. Remember to notch. And also I'm going to top stitch on the lining. And also close the sides. I'm going to close the two sides. And afterwards, this is what we're going to have. Now I have the initial cutting was -4, and afterwards we measured down 2 inches to make it 6 inches for the neck deepness. So you can always cut the neck deepness to your desired measurement. And for this I am using 6 inches. So now I'm going to close the two sides, and I'm going to top stitch on the lining as well. Now the next thing we're going to do here is to attach the band. We're going to attach the band to the half length. So I'm going to turn it so that the sewing will not be visible. So I'll join and then I'll turn it before we now turn the sides with the lining. So let's join this first. Make sure the lining is not there. Now we're going to join the down parts to the half length. We've turned the sides and we have this. So now we're going to join the down parts to this. So we have the half length ready, and the next thing we're going to do, the front part, we're going to measure 3.5 inches to bring out the darts. It's going to be a straight dart all the way down, and if you wish you can just measure 4 inches, but for me I'm going to measure it straight down. We're going to join together and using the lining to turn on the other side. So I'm going to join together and I'm going to turn the two sides with the lining. I have excess lining, so I'm just going to trim it off. So let's turn it inside out to see what we have. So we have this. So now we move to the back. For the back, I'm going to place the lining to turn the neck first. So I'm going to sew on the neck. I'll notch and I'll top stitch, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to turn the two sides. I'm going to turn the two sides, and after which I'll turn inside out and bring out the dart, which is 3.5. And don't forget, we added a zip allowance to it, so I'm going to start my measurements from folding the zip allowance. Then I'll measure the 3.5 for the dart, and I'll have my 4 inches dart measurements. But first, I'm going to close the side, after which I'll bring out the dart. Next thing we're going to do now, I'm going to close the two sides, and after which I'll turn it inside out and measure out the dart. And for bringing out the dart, remember we added our sewing allowance, so I'm going to fold it before measuring the dart measurement, and the length of the dart is 4 inches. So now I'm going to close the sides first, then I'll bring out the darts. So we have the back ready. This is the half length, and now the next thing I'm going to do is to place the down part, that's to the knee length. I'm going to place it on it now to join together. So before joining it, I'm also going to bring out the darts on this part. I'm going to measure out the darts, and like I said in the front part, if you wish, you can just measure 4 inches to hold your dart, or you hold the dart straight down. So mine is going to be straight down. To join together now, we have to make sure the darts align. and the lining is going to be on the other side. So I'm going to join together, then I'll fold in the side too, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to fix the zip. And to fix the zip, you have to measure and then leave the space for a zip. Then we join the remaining parts. 17. So I'm going to join the rest of the fabric. Remember to iron even as you sew to have a neat finish. I'm fixing the zip now. We have the zip piece. This is the inside, and now we're going to bring out the shape, bringing the front and the back together. You have to make sure the joinings align. So now we can bring out the measurements. We have the bust to be 32, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. So we have 16. First, we measure all together what we have. Here we have 20 inches and we need 16, so we have 4 inches excess. That means we're going to hold 2 inches on each side. And the band measurement is 26, and 26 divided by 2 is 13, so that is 13. Also, you measure all together what we have 18 and we need 13 inches. That means we have 5 inches excess, so we share 2.5 inches on each side. We continue like that. We have the waist to be 28 and divided by 2 is 14. The hip 34. Divided by 2 is 17. And of course, we're going to subtract from the hip measurement, so I'm going to measure 16 inches. Subtract 1, depending on your choice. Anyway, if you still want it to go deeper than that, you can subtract 2 inches. So I have 16 inches. Let's bring out the shape from the bust to the band to the waist, from the waist to the hip, and penciled down. So let's bring out the shape now. Out the shape of the blouse, and now coming to the shoulder measurements. The shoulder is 13, so the neck wideness must not be up to 13, so I'm going to subtract 2 inches from the shoulder measurements, and that will be 11 inches. So that's the neck wideness. You can always have the neck wideness of your choice. So I'm going to trim out all excess. The next thing we're going to do now is to fix the eye-low flare, and we have the lining. So I'm going to turn the edge. I'm going to turn with the lining. The next thing now is attaching the high-low flare, and first we're going to turn with the lining. So I'm going to place the lining on it, and we're going to join it round. I'll notch and top stitch on the lining before fixing it to the ready-made half length. So let's join the lining now. The lining, the next thing for us now is to join the sides attached to the half length. I'm going to make it an invisible closing, so the lining will be turned in. Now I'm going to turn inside out, and we attach to the half length. Need to get the front and also the back before joining. And in case there is any excess lining, please remember to trim it off. So I'm going to trim off this little lining. So now, attaching the half length together with it, so I'm going to join together now. So we've done the I love me sleeve, half length, and the last thing to do now is to fix the sleeve. And in doing that, we're going to bring out the shape. The round sleeve measurement is 10 inches, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I'm going to measure 5 inches, 5 inches, and I'll join straight down. And also I'm going to fold in the edge of the sleeve. I'm going to fold it in before attaching to the main dress. So first let's fold the edge, and then after which we'll bring out the round sleeve measurements. The round shoulder measurement is 37, and on our main dress we have 11 inches front and 11 inches back. That's 22. So 22 minus well, we have to subtract 22 from 37, and we have 15 inches left. So which means we have 7.5 inches on one sleeve and 7.5 inches on the other sleeve. And to achieve that, since our sleeve is into 2, with our sewing allowance we'll be needing 4 inches. That will give us 8. So it means I'm going to attach this part. I'm going to attach from here to all the way to the armhole, and also I'm going to repeat the other sleeve. And before attaching it, since it's a bell sleeve, we have a flare, so I'm going to join the flare, make it ready, and attach it to the main sleeve. So I'm going to join the sleeve, the flare together now, and attach it to the main sleeve. joint part, that's the one on the main dress, and the sleeve must align, and the same thing on the other side. The two lines, and we are done fixing the sleeve, and we have the main dress ready, and the high-low. That brings us to the end of our sewing, and I'm sure that was an interesting class. Thanks for watching Kharis Tutorials. I still remain Simeon Grace, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos. You can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at Africa TV. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Kharis Kreations. Till I see you next class. Bye.